Hey guys, it's Hannah and I'm here today with my rainy rundown. So if you haven't seen, I've already done 2 of these. This is where I sum up basically a wrap-up of the last 5 books that I've been reading, and I've been liking doing this a lot more than my normal wrap-ups for monthly because I get to talk to you about them sooner and so they are more fresh in my mind. So we are going to get into the 5 most recent reads that I have completed. The first book that I completed was Giant Days Volume 9, and if you guys have been around for a while, you guys know this is just a fun, comforting graphic novel for me. I really enjoy it. It's fluffy, it's just slice of life type of stuff, but very enjoyable. I didn't think I would like a contemporary styled graphic novel, but I really do. This stars 3 girls who are going to university over in London, and they are going about their day-to-day lives and trying to survive and trying to fit in and trying to figure out what the hell they're doing with their lives. It's very funny and entertaining, and they all have very different personalities. So there's a quiet, shy girl who is like the goody-goody, and there's also a girl who's like a grungy, fits in with the boys, doesn't give a shit type of character who is a little bit rough around the edges, and then there is an overly emotional goth girl in this who likes the attention of the opposite sex a lot and deals with all of that. It's very entertaining. This one in particular, we deal with heartbreaks on how to end relationships and moving on to their 3rd year of college as their 2nd year is ending. And we just see different changes. I ended up rating this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It just didn't have enough juice for me in this one, but I still really enjoy the characters. I'm definitely going to continue picking up the series because I am so attached to the characters now. And if you want to get into graphic novels, but if you are intimidated by all of the superhero ones, I recommend checking out Giant Days. It's easy to get to the format, it's easy to get like familiar with it, but it is something that you don't have to have a lot of back knowledge to understand the premise. So I recommend checking out this one. You will fly through them so quickly and they're just a fun time. Next up is Maggie Stiefvater's The Dream Thieves. This one and my next one are Muggle Studies Book Club picks for February, and if you want to check out our thoughts, mine and Gabby's, over at Gabby's channel on the live show, it is always posted, and go ahead and check out like our spoilery thoughts there. But I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This is the 2nd book in the series. I still really like it. I like the Ronin focus on this. I did think that Maggie Stiefvater kind of dropped the ball on a lot of things that she set in motion for the Raven Boys, so I didn't particularly love that. There wasn't a lot of blue organza in this book, which made me disappointed because I really enjoyed those character dynamics and I like the voices that bring to it. I will say I highly recommend reading it instead of the audiobook. The audiobook is not good. The way that they do voices and such, it's just not a good audiobook in my opinion. But I do recommend checking out the series. I really like it so far. This is, like I said, only the 2nd book, so I've only read up to the 2nd book. I definitely prefer the 1st book over the 2nd book, but I have hope that it's going to kick back once we get more character dynamics versus one main solo story. I definitely think this is a Ronin book. If you are interested in checking out kind of a different, spooky, just it's totally in its own element, but it's got to do with psychics and ley lines and wishes and whole magical forest and world, I highly recommend checking out this series and I cannot wait to continue. Our other one for our Muggle Studies Book Club pick is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. I really enjoyed this. It's so much of the fandom love of Harry Potter and Star Wars and Hamilton, and it definitely feels like nerds reading about nerds, and it's so great, and it's very enjoyable. Such an easy, fast read. The romance in here is really cute. I will say I did have a few problems with it, hence why the 4 out of 5 stars. So there is quite a bit of insta love. The main thing that really bothered me was it didn't feel like the ages matched up. So in this story, they are 16, 17 years old, but they are constantly talking about college, and they feel very much like they are in college age about some of the things that they do, some of the things that they talk about, and where their kind of headspace is. So I felt kind of a disconnect. It didn't always feel like teenagers were the main focus in this. Like sometimes it did, like there were the maturity levels, and then sometimes it didn't. It didn't quite mesh well for me with this, but I overall really enjoyed it. It is all about two boys who meet just happenstance, and they have a really nice conversation, they really click, but neither one of them reached out to get the other's contact info to like pick them up. And so it follows both of them for a while trying to find this mystery boy and searching high and low, and then it continues on with that premise. So overall, it's a really fun read. I did have some problems with it, but I think that it is so cute. I will also say that Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera's voices meshed so well with each other that you couldn't tell that it was written by two authors, which I think is an incredible feat. Next up, I read I Hate Fairyland Volume 2 of Fluff My Life, and I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars. So if you guys have seen my review on the first one, you guys know that I adored the first volume. Like it was up there with Deadpool epicness that I really, really enjoyed. And then I got to this one and I was so let down that like I'm surprised because I went in with such high expectations because I loved the first one. This one, I'm surprised I give it a 3 out of 5 stars because of such high expectations, but that's why I like had to balance out what I thought. Overall, like it still has the funny humor, but it just didn't have enough plotline for me. There is bits about time travel, which you guys know is like one of my irritating things. I instantly like cringe when I read a time travel storyline, because I'm not gonna go into the rant. You guys heard me rant enough about this, but there is elements of time travel in this. The story really didn't feel like it progressed. It felt like a filler volume. So I think like you could probably skip this and just read like the last 30 pages, because I think the time travel thing is gonna like carry on to the next volume, unfortunately. But I think like you could read the last 30 pages and pretty much get the gist of this, and it's just like more attempts of her trying to get home and failing. That's basically it. So 3 out of 5 stars for I Hate Fairyland. I'm really hoping that the other volumes will live up to the first one, because the humor is so on point, and like the vicious killing, and it's just hilarious, and I really hope that they redeem itself in the third one. And last and least is Captain Marvel, The Life of Captain Marvel. I'm really disappointed in this one because I don't normally rate Marvel graphic novels that low, but I mean, it had to happen sometime. You know, they can't all be great. So this one was my very first Captain Marvel picking up. I've heard of her, I like knew her powers, but I didn't know anything, like didn't know her backstory, I didn't know anything about her, so this was my very first one to pick up, and it was not good. So the reason why I decided on this one was because it says the definitive origin of Captain Marvel on the back, and so I was like, great, this is gonna tell me like, this is the start, where to start. No, don't start here. It's hella confusing. I ended up rating this one, I think, a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I did see the movie though. I enjoyed the movie quite, like, leaps and bounds more than I enjoyed this. So, in this graphic novel, Carol is not an enjoyable person to read from. She doesn't have a sense of humor. She isn't likable whatsoever. She like holds on to a lot of grudges and shit that she just needs to let go, and she kind of has an uppity vibe to her in this graphic novel, because she looks down on all of these, you know, people that in her life, like her family, who are going through shit, and she just looks down at like all of the flaws that they could have gone through, instead of like imagining what, like, she didn't have any empathy for her family, which was like bullshit, and she was like looking down on them and being like, why didn't you do this? And never actually thinking like what it would have been like to be in her family's shoes. And she's gone through a lot of shit, so I get that there's like anger built up there, but some of the stuff is like, you are hurting the victim of some things, and it's like, what? Like, you're blaming the victim, and I did not care for that. And there was a really good plot twist that I like probably like halfway through that I was like, this is the most entertaining this graphic novel is right here. And I enjoyed the plot twist, and then shortly after the plot twist happened, there was a bunch of jump cuts of her remembering things, and I get that that's hard to show in graphic novels, and they did include like the jump cuts in the different styles so you could tell that they were jump cuts, but it was not, we got so many different storylines in this one thing that it didn't make sense, and we jumped around. So like the first half of the book was very cohesive, and then the second half of the book we like jumped around to different stories, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I didn't like it to begin with, but it was like progressively getting better because of that plot twist in the middle, and then it just went like, woo! And I was like, what is happening? So I do not recommend checking out this. I did enjoy the plot twist. I liked the other characters besides Carol. I liked like the voices that they made, but it was not a good deal. So 2.5 out of 5 stars for Captain Marvel. That is gonna be all for my Rainy rundown. Let me know down below if you went and saw Captain Marvel and what you think. If you have a better recommendation on where I should read Captain Marvel, let me know down below. I have read Miss Marvel with Kamala Khan, but that's my only true Captain Marvel that I've read. And I honestly don't know if I would pick up anything else because I didn't really jive with the character very well. So that is going to be all for my wrap up, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!